Throughout the Harry Potter books, the Chamber of Secrets is quite notorious for its abundance of plot conveniences. So I went through the book and listed all of the plot conveniences I could find. And yeah, there are a lot of them. I probably missed some, so go ahead and inform me of any I didn't include in the comments, please. And finally, before we get into the list, please keep in mind that this isn't a video about Chamber of Secrets being bad, simply just pointing out a few mistakes in a fun manner. And now, without any further ado, let's get straight into 35 plot conveniences in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Dobby visited Harry the same day that the Masons visited the Dursleys. On another day, Harry probably wouldn't have been locked up. Mr. Weasley managed to keep his enchanted Ford Anglia secret and unconfiscated, despite Lucius Malfoy saying that the Ministry is conducting more raids and inspections now. After using Floo powder, Harry ended up in Nocturne Alley, which is literally right next to Diagon Alley, rather than somewhere far away with a similar name. Harry also just so happened to Floo powder himself into Borgin and Burke's exactly when Draco and Lucius Malfoy were there to talk about illegal items in the house. Seriously, why isn't this shop closed? They literally sell cursed, deadly or easily exploitable artifacts to anyone. Hagrid was present in Nocturne Alley at the same time as Harry, and they encounter each other just as shady witches and wizards start harassing Harry. No one noticed Lucius Malfoy slipping Tom Riddle's diary into Ginny's cauldron in Diagon Alley, and Ginny didn't think of asking anyone how it had gotten there or whose it could be. When leaving the burrow, Ginny remembered about the diary only at the very last moment, otherwise it would have never gotten to the school. Harry and Ron were the last out of their company to enter or try to enter platform 9 3/4, and not a single other student seemingly still hadn't entered platform 9 3/4 when Harry and Ron tried to enter. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have recklessly tried to fly the car to Hogwarts, since other people would be there too. Harry and Ron didn't think of waiting about 2 minutes for Mr. and Mrs. Weasley to come back, and even if it took much longer, they still probably wouldn't get in trouble because it's out of their control that the barrier closed. Neither Harry or Ron realised that the Whomping Willow was there until it was too late. To be fair, it was dark, but even then it was far, far more likely to end up anywhere on the fields or even in the Forbidden Forest than on a single isolated tree. And if they hadn't landed into it, Ron's wand wouldn't have broken, and therefore Lockhart's spell wouldn't have backfired, and Harry and Ron would be stuck in the Chamber of Secrets without their memories, unless another plot convenience would have saved them from that. Ron and Harry didn't get expelled for flying the car to Hogwarts with 7 muggles seeing them. Harry in particular was lucky, since he got a letter from the Ministry a few chapters previously that should he use magic outside of school again, he could be expelled. Harry, Ron and Hermione are the first out of all of the students to see Miss Norris petrified and the message written on the wall. This isn't a plot convenience strictly, but it is certainly unlikely, and it gave people a reason to suspect Harry is the heir of Slytherin. The injuries Harry received from the rogue bludger and Lockhart's failed healing spell could have been much, much worse, and were fixed relatively quickly and easily by Madame Pomfrey. Dumbledore, an immensely intelligent wizard, didn't work out what creature with a relationship to Slytherin and had the powers of petrification was petrifying the students, and if he had worked it out, then why wouldn't he set up precautions against the basilisk? Second-year students hadn't been taught Serpent Sortia, and it is seemingly a complex spell, and yet Malfoy could perform it. If he hadn't, Harry wouldn't have discovered he was a Parseltongue, and therefore probably wouldn't have been able to open the Chamber of Secrets. Harry, Ron and Hermione are never caught brewing Polyjuice Potion in the girls' bathroom, or even caught stealing any of the ingredients. Similarly to the previous convenience, all of the ingredients to make a Polyjuice Potion were relatively easily accessible in Hogwarts. Even though she is by far the smartest student of her year, Hermione brewing the complex Polyjuice Potion was quite unlikely and would have easily gone wrong. When Harry and Ron are in the Slytherin common room, Malfoy reveals not only that there are illegal dark objects in Malfoy Manor, but also where they're hidden. Although he was very suspicious, Malfoy, a relatively smart guy, didn't figure out that Crabbe and Goyle were imposters. Ginny threw the diary into the one bathroom where Harry was likely to be the first person to pick it up. None of the victims of the basilisk actually died because of ridiculous luck. Mrs. Norris saw it through the reflection of a puddle, Colin saw it through his camera, Nearly Headless Nick was already dead so he couldn't die, Justin saw it through Nearly Headless Nick, and Hermione and Penelope saw it through a mirror. That's ridiculously lucky. Harry and Ron are in Hagrid's hut, just as Cornelius Fudge, Dumbledore, and Lucius Malfoy arrive. This allows Hagrid to tip Harry and Ron off about the spiders. They also have the invisibility cloak, which lets them hide so they don't get into trouble. Harry and Ron find the tiny trail of spiders, and then manage to follow it into the deep dark forest. Mr. Weasley's fourth Anglia developed a mind of its own and came to save Harry and Ron from the Acromantulas. Really? Come on. Moaning Myrtle lived on as a ghost, which allowed her to help Harry work out how to get into the Chamber of Secrets and tell him details about her death. Lockhart used Ron's wand to cast Obliviate, despite it clearly being broken. If he had used Harry's wand, the spell would have probably been successful. Had Harry arrived a few minutes later, Ginny would have died and Tom Riddle would have been fully returned. Harry's words of loyalty to Dumbledore summoned Fawkes, with the Sorting Hat, and therefore the Sword of Gryffindor. Harry, who had never wielded a sword before, managed to slay the basilisk. The only known and ridiculously rare antidote to basilisk venom was present in the room when Harry got impaled by the basilisk fang. Also, one of the very few known ways to destroy a Horcrux was present in the room with the diary. If any other beast's fang or any other weapon was used, the diary and Tom Riddle wouldn't have been destroyed. Phoenixes have the ability to carry immense loads, so Fawkes could carry Harry, Ron, Ginny and Lockhart all out of the Chamber of Secrets. Lucius Malfoy threw the sock in Dobby's direction, so he was able to catch it and become free. And finally, throughout the whole year, no one caught Ginny doing anything to do with the heir of Slytherin. For example, killing roosters or writing the messages on the wall with blood. So there you have it, the 35 plot conveniences I found in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. If you have any that I forgot, like I said before, please leave them in the comments for me to read. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.